you attacking Sean Kent, the black defense attorney who represented one of the attorneys who represented Rick Chow. You think if Sean Kent is the problem because he did an excellent job defending his client, if you think that, then you're the problem. The man is a lawyer. His client was charged with murder. His job was to defend that client within the law. And from what I saw, he did a stellar job. He forced the prosecutors to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and they couldn't do it. Shout out to William Lynch. That's not betrayal. That's not being a sellout. That's the legal profession. And if your ass was in a sling, excuse my language, you would want somebody like that representing you too. And let me say this now, because I've seen this floating around the internet. If any one of you all, any of you podcasters are stupid enough to threaten this man online or gin up these crazy people on the internet to think that it's a good idea to go threaten this man who just won this case, I hope that law enforcement takes your threat seriously. I hope that the FBI comes to visit you at your home. I hope that you get charged with making terrorist threats. And see, threatening a lawyer isn't activism. It's not being down with the people. It's ignorance. But see, that also exposes a sickness inside of Black America, something that I've talked about on this broadcast. See, too many of us celebrate Black excellence when it's entertainers, or when somebody out there catching balls and dunking basketballs and running up and down somebody's field or making music. But we attack it when it shows up in the courtroom, wearing a suit, or in a boardroom, or using procedure, or using evidence, or winning. We need more Black attorneys like Sean Kent. We need more Black trial lawyers and judges and prosecutors and civil rights lawyers and legislators who understand the machinery of power. You don't fix the system by attacking the Black lawyer who knew how to win inside of the system. You fix it by producing more Black people who know how to use the system. Did I mention that the jury was predominantly Black, or 5 Black people plus 2 could have been Black people? It was only 5 white folks on there. 7 out of the 12 people were Black. Did I mention that? So before we start, the jury was racist. Most of them people was Black. So that's the one bad idea that I heard. The other bad idea I heard was this, and we've seen this before. Business does something we don't like, looting, vandalizing, burn it down, right? Somebody type burn it down. That's what you want to do with Rick Chow. So apparently he sold it. But either way, that's not justice. That's a gift. If you burn the building down, you hand him an insurance claim for property damage, lost income, business interruption. Meanwhile, the people who did it go to jail, get felonies, arson. They lose their jobs, they lose their freedom, and you give the media footage of Black people looking reckless. Rick Chow has already been found not guilty. Don't help him win again. And the family obviously has filed a civil lawsuit, and it's still pending. Damaging the property won't help the family. It's going to hurt leverage and complicate insurance and create new legal issues to shift the conversation away from the death of Cyrus Belton. And instead of talking about a 14-year-old Black boy being accused and chased and shot in the back, the shooter's walking free, the news will talk about broken glass and burned property and mug shots and police lineups and public safety. That's not a strategy. That's self-sabotage. Now, another bad idea. Pulling up All y'all that want to pull up and harass the Chow family, following people around, threatening people, and trying to intimidate anybody connected to the case. That's not activism. That's just how you get arrested. That's how you get sued. That's how you get shot. Or that's how all three happen to you. You're helping the other side build the narrative that black outrage is dangerous and out of control. So in other words, you're being useful to your enemies. You're being useful to the people who want to say, see, that black boy was dangerous. He deserved it. You're not helping. And see, that's the part that a lot of black people don't want to hear. A lot of this outrage, and let me just be honest with you, it's just performative. You don't want justice. You want the camera. You want likes. You want shares and interviews and donations and attention. That's what you want. Let's be honest. You want to be the next Al Sharpton. You want to be the next Jesse Jackson. You want to be seen yelling in front of a store. You want to be interviewed by the news. But see, being loud is not the same as being useful. Screaming isn't strategy. Threatening lawyers isn't strategy. Burning buildings isn't strategy. Harassing people isn't strategy. Boycott everybody who looks like the defendant. That's not a strategy either. Strategy means attacking the pressure points. That's how serious people move, not with chaos, with leverage. Now, let me say something to you all, and I want y'all to hear me clearly. All the people in South Carolina. The truth is, I didn't know a damn thing about this case, and most America didn't either. In 2023, we were still trying to recover from the beer virus. We were trying to get back to our jobs. We were trying to figure out how Zoom worked. That's what we were doing. I didn't know about this case. I didn't know about this case until it popped up on my news feed this week. This wasn't in my backyard. This wasn't my local store. This wasn't my county. It wasn't even my state. I live in Texas. But you know who did know about this? For a long time, the people of Columbia, South Carolina knew about it. The people in that community knew. The local activists knew. The local politicians knew. The local law enforcement knew. The local media knew. The black community around that store knew. See, Cyrus Carmack Belton, that 14-year-old boy, that was yours. That child belonged to your community. I can't focus on everything I got going on in my life in Texas and all the people in California and Nevada, but we can't focus on that. We have our own families to deal with and our own work, and we have our own things to deal with. How are we supposed to handle what's going on in South Carolina? Let me make this plain. Y'all should have been handled this after the first incident involving Rick Chow in 2015. After he shot at that black woman 6 times for allegedly stealing those bag of boiled peanuts and a case of beer. Y'all should have handled that then. And you absolutely, positively should have handled it in 2018 after the second time he shot somebody and sent them to the hospital. This is where you all fail, South Carolina. This is where the community failed. This is where leadership in that community failed. This is where the system failed. You don't think deeply enough. You didn't organize early enough. You didn't attack the right pressure point. Somebody type pressure point in the chat room. You waited until a black child died, a black male child. And now everybody want to scream protest. Now you want to burn things down. Now you want to perform for the camera. It's too late.